All right, the time has come. All of our books from Thriftbooks are finally here, and we're going to open them with you. If you're new here, I'm Rian, a Christ-following wife and a homeschool mom to 3 boys. Here we talk all things homeschool, and we will learn together how to use our roles as wife, mom, teacher, and homemaker in order to glorify God. Okay, so if you don't know, we are a Sonlight family, and if you know anything about Sonlight, it takes a lot of books to work. I am also a penny pincher, and so as much as I love Sonlight and think that it's probably worth the hefty price tag, I like to find ways to save money. And so one of the ways I do that is by buying as many books as I can used, whether that be through Thriftbooks, which is what I'm about to show you, or I borrow them from a friend, or there's Book Outlet, there's Second Sale, there's Abe Books. So I buy as many used as possible, and then what I can't, I just shop around. As you saw in my curriculum haul, I got some of them from Sonlight. I got some from Rainbow Resource. I've gotten them from Christian Book before. I've gotten them from Amazon a couple times. So it takes a little work to do all this shopping around, but it really does save a big chunk of change in the end. So as I open these, this was all one big order, but it came in lots of different packages from all over the United States. So as I open them, I'm going to try to remember where they belong, if they're from my preschooler, if they're from our read alouds, if they're from our independent readers. But I'm not going to get it all right probably, but I'll try my best. All right, first book is Tales of Robin Hood, and right off the bat, I do not know whose this is. Of course, we all know Robin Hood. I believe this is my 5th graders, but it may be a read aloud too. I don't really know. Next up, fresh out of the package, we have One Crazy Summer. And this is the book I think I told you in my curriculum haul that I ordered. And then like a few days later was going through a huge bag of books that I got from my aunt that were her kids growing up. And this book is in there. So I don't know if it's worth the effort. I'll probably return this. If not, I will see if someone else wants it or I will donate it. So this one is about 3 young girls who go on a trip to California to find their mom who abandoned them. And it's set in the late 60s, I believe. So it has won lots of awards, as you can tell, which is why I kept it from the stuff of my aunt's that she gave me. And then I apparently forgot about it. So I have 2 copies now. Then we have Keep the Lights Burning, Abby. And this is for my 2nd grader. So this is set in the 1800s, and Abby has to keep the lights in the lighthouse burning. It sounds really interesting. There's a big storm in it and everything, so I think that'll be fun. A Big Quiet House, a Yiddish folk tale from Eastern Europe. I believe this is for my preschoolers' Sonlight curriculum. Now we have Mike Mulligan and more, and you cannot go wrong with this. The steam shovel. This is obviously for my preschooler. So there's the steam shovel, the little house, Katie in the big snow, and Maybelle the cable car. So I know he's going to enjoy these because we like anything to do with transportation and engines and all things like that around here. Okay, this is the Paintbrush Kid. I think this is for my 2nd grader. He'll be in 3rd grade. Don't quote me on that. But this is about a man named Uncle Pancho who's about to lose his house. And so this kid decides to paint Uncle Pancho's life story because apparently he's lived a rather interesting life. And somehow he thinks that is going to save his house that he's about to lose. In this next package, we have Horton Hatches the Egg. Can't go wrong with Horton and Dr. Seuss. We have Horton Hears a Who, but we did not have this one yet. This is for my preschooler and his Sonlight. I think they call it level T, but it's their 3 and 4-year-old level. This one is also for him, Last Stop on Market Street, and this little boy, and I think it's his grandma, ride the bus, and it's just talking about everything they see while they drive through the town. So we've got some interesting characters that they get to see. This is Prairie School. This is for my soon-to-be 3rd grader, and this is a boy in the 1800s, works out on the prairie, and his aunt decides that she's going to teach him to read, and he doesn't think he needs to know how to read, but I'm sure he learns why he needs to read later. And this is also for my 2nd grader, I believe. It could be my 5th grader, but It looks pretty little. But it's an Andrew Clements book. He writes some really good stuff. This is Jake Drake Bully Buster. So this kid's been bullied most of his life. And in second grade, it gets really bad with this other kid that he meets, and they get teamed up on a project together. So that's bound to be interesting. And then this one I am super, super excited about. I don't remember if it's for my 5th grader or if it's a read aloud. I'm really hoping it's a read aloud because I want to read it. It's called Rules by Cynthia Lord, and it is about a girl whose brother has autism, and she gets really tired of like everything kind of revolving around him and their family. But then she meets some new friends and starts to question what really is normal. And so this is a lot about acceptance and about friendship and stuff like that. Okay, in this next package, we have Go Dog Go. Of course, a classic. This is the first book that my now 5th grader read by himself. I didn't even ask him to. He was just like, Mom, I think I can read this. And I just remember like videotaping him, like, and he just read the whole book to me, and it was amazing. So I love this one as a kid. Obviously, my other boys have too, so I can't wait to share it with my youngest. The Last Little Cat. This is for my 3rd grader, and it will be one of his independent readers. It's a very, I don't think I've ever read it, but I guess it's been around for a long time. But it's definitely a animal orphan type story, so it'll be heartwarming. This one, again, I don't remember if it's a read aloud or my 5th grader's independent reading, but I don't know much about this book other than this young boy is trying to prove that he is smart enough to be able to go to college one day. And I'm guessing he's in circumstances where most people don't go to college. And so he has a lot to prove there. This is for my 5th grader. It is another Andrew Clements book. And this is called About Average, where this little girl is feeling just very average. Like there's nothing extraordinary about her, but she says by the end of the year, things are going to change. And so I guess we'll see how she makes herself stand out. And then this is 3rd grade detectives. This is one of those, there's 2 books in one. And so these 3rd grade detective books, if you're not familiar with them, are just little easy reader mysteries for younger elementary. All right, the next package had Where in the World by Simon French. And this is about a young boy who moves from Germany to Australia. And that's kind of heartbreaking for him and hard for him. But his love for music ends up helping him along the way. And he learns how to communicate with those around him using music. I think this is one of our read alouds for Sonlight this year. We have The Wondrous World of Violet Barnaby. Again, could be for my 5th grader, could be a read aloud. I don't know. But this is about a girl whose mother has died and her dad has remarried, and she's just like kind of struggling. And when Christmas comes around, she finds a letter from her mother with a list of things that her mom wants her to do. And so she, I think, is kind of forced into enjoying Christmas and kind of having a better outlook on life. This is for my preschooler, Nana upstairs and Nana downstairs. I remember my younger sister had this book when we lived at home, and it's by Tommy DiPaola, which is one of my favorite authors for children's books. And this is actually about this is a real life story about him and his mother, his grandmother and great grandmother, and the relationship they share. And then this is also for my preschooler, Look Inside Your Body. It's an Usborne book, and it's a lift the flap, so you have bones and muscles, and you can look inside each of these things and all that good stuff. Okay, in this next package, we had both of these books, The Long Way to a New Land and The Long Way Westward. And so this is about a boy in the 1800s traveling cross country. These are for my 3rd grader, and I think he's going to really like these, especially because there's a character with the same first name as him, which is kind of rare. This is another one of his, Clara and the Book Wagon. And Clara, like in one of the other books I was talking about before, works out on the prairie. She lives in a family of farmers, and she wants to learn how to read, but her dad doesn't really encourage that. And then Miss Clara comes with a book wagon, and she gets her hands on some books. And I believe one of our read alouds is The Candy Makers. And there is a contest to see who can make the best candy, but then it just says there's lots of turns and twists and surprises. So I know very little about this book. And then for my preschooler, we have Richard Scarry's What Do People Do All Day? I had a sister who was obsessed with Richard Scarry when we were little. And so it goes through what a visit to the hospital might look like and what a post office does. So this is a really good, fun book, but also very practical and learning about the world, when you're 3 and 4 years old. Okay, so then we have The Littles, and this is for my 3rd grader. I thought we had this book, but we just have a bunch of the sequels. We don't actually have the original The Littles. So of course, The Littles are a family of small people that live in the Big's house. And when new people come to stay, they make a mess and, mayhem ensues. Here's another Andrew Clements book. This is for my 5th grader. It's called The Losers Club. And this kid starts a club that basically he wants to be the only member of because he loves reading, which my 5th grader loves reading also. And then he soon finds out that more people are like him than he thought. And then we have The Squire's Tale. Pretty sure this is a read aloud. This is more of the Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur type story, a spin-off of that. And it sounds a little bit funny with some adventure in it, so I'm sure my kids will like it. In this package, we have HarperCollins Treasury of Picture Book Classics. So this is like some good books, guys. This is Caps for Sale, Head to Toe, Goodnight Moon, Harold and the Purple Crayon, A Baby Sister for Francis, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Like, these are the good ones. So this is for my preschooler for his Sonlight. And he also got George and Martha. I vaguely remember these from when I was a kid, but he loves any animals, so he'll love the hippos. And also for him, we have the Tall Book of Nursery Tales. So this is just all your classic nursery tales. Here's Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. Here's for my 3rd grader, The Chalk Box Kid. So this 9-year-old boy is having kind of a rough go at life, and he finds an abandoned chalk factory, which actually has a garden growing in it, and I think he ends up making a friend. Then we have The Pinderwicks. I'm pretty sure this is a read aloud, and I've actually read this one recently, the past few years. And I really like this story, probably because I kind of relate to it, because it's a story about 4 sisters, and I had 3 sisters growing up, so there were 4 of us. And they spend the summer at a cottage away and meet a friend whose mom is not crazy about them and get into some mischief, but I really like this story. And then for all of us, we have The Question of Yams, a missionary story based on true events. So this young boy, in his village, they pray to spirits for their crops. But when his dad starts praying to the one true God of the Bible, amazing things happen. And then this last batch is actually not from Thriftbooks. This is from Book Outlet. My sweet friend had some credits that she wasn't going to be able to use. And so she used it on me, and I got all of these for free. So that was really nice. I got a duplicate of the 3rd grade detectives, but this is not the flip around book. This is just one story, and we needed both of them. So I ended up finding that other one. I couldn't find the second one by itself. Anyway, so I'll probably donate this or pass it off to a friend. And then for my 3-year-old, we have this sweet little Noah's Ark book that is part of his Sonlight. Has really pretty pictures in it. And then we have Song for a Whale. This is about a girl who's deaf and therefore has a hard time making friends, but finally befriends kind of a strange whale who doesn't communicate well with his peers either. And then last we have the Not So Boring Letters of Private Nobody. So this boy who's really into the Civil War has to do a project, but the soldier he gets assigned is kind of a, as he thinks of him, a nobody. And he and a girl that he doesn't really care for have to work together. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic there. But they end up uncovering some secrets, and I'm sure there's twists and turns in here too. So that is all of our books. That's a whole lot, but I can't wait to go get them all sorted out and shelved and get started on our Sonlight for this year. Let me know down below where you go to save $1 on books. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.